What's up, comic fans? I am here with this week's previews of what books I am picking up this week for October 7th, New Comic Book Day. So let's get into the comics. Let's try to make this as quick as possible. This week has some interesting books, some cool books, some books definitely worth picking up, some books that I'm specking on, some books that I'm just reading, and some books that I'm interested in. So let's get right into it. First, though, let's mention the Alex Ross Timeless covers. There's a couple of them coming out this week. So we have Marauders, number 13. That's going to be Iceman. Then we got Thor, number 8. It's going to be a classic Thor on that one. Wolverine, number 6, is the purple and gold suit Wolverine. I think he's in like berserker mode there. X-Force number 13, we've got Beast. And on Black Widow number 2, we have Black Widow. So those are the timeless covers for this week. They're all pretty dope. So Alex Ross still killing it with those timeless covers. All right, we're going to get back to Marvel in a minute, but let's go with the indies first. Let's start off with Image. We've got Die, number 14, by Kieran Gillen, Stephanie Hans, and we got a really dope B cover by Sana Takada. It looks like there will be a big battle in this issue. And with this group all in emotional turmoil, things could get a bit messy in this book. So if you've been reading it, Die, number 14, looks like it's going to be a pretty action-packed book with lots of motion and lots of battle scenes. And like I said, that B cover by Sana Takada looks really awesome. Next up from Image, we got Firepower number 4 by Robert Kirkman and Chris Samney. This is a really fun series. If you're not reading it and you're just looking for a fun book to read, I would definitely recommend Firepower 4. It is just a really fun book to read. And it looks like the bad guys are going to go all out in this issue, or possibly in this issue. We'll see. But they've been trying to do things kind of secretly, and now it's gotten to the point where I think they're just going to attack head on in this book. But it's got excellent art by Chris Samney, and the writing is really good by Robert Kirkman. All right, moving on, we've got The Walking Dead Deluxe Edition number 1. So this is also a Robert Kirkman book, by the way. Ton of artists did covers for this book. Dave McCaig is doing the coloring. So if you've ever wondered what The Walking Dead would look like with color, wonder no more. Here you go. I'm probably going to pick up one of these covers. Haven't decided yet. You've got the Tony Moore cover. Cover A is David Finch. You have a Charlie Adlard cover, who picked up the artwork when Tony Moore left the book. You got a Julian Totino Tedesco cover. We've got a Art Adams cover, and there's definitely a blank sketch cover. So, you know, for you guys who go to cons and stuff, blank sketch is definitely worth a pickup. All right, we're going to move on to Dark Horse. From Dark Horse, we have Bang, issue number 4 or 5 by Matt Kint and Wilfredo Torres. They have 2 covers, an A and a B. Pretty interesting. This is a pretty interesting series. There's only 2 more issues to go, and we've only been introduced to characters, and we've gotten very little backstory. All we know is that there are books being written about these super spies, including our main protagonist, Thomas Cord. Basically, what's written in these books is what's happening, even the deaths of some of these super spies. So they're going around investigating to see why these books are becoming reality. But we've really only gotten introductions to some of these characters, and with only two issues left, I'm wondering how it's going to wrap up. But it's a pretty interesting read. If you haven't been reading it, you could wait for the trade. It did pop a little bit spec-wise. Issue 1 was going for $10+ a while back. I'm not even sure what it's going for now. I'm sure it's no longer a huge spec. It's a good series. If you get a chance, I'd wait for the trade. Next up from Dark Horse, we got Cyberpunk 2077 by Cullen Bunn and Miguel Valderrama. Basically, the main protagonist, Nadia, in this second issue is going to have to save the man who killed her last trauma unit while also trying to escape a skyscraper with 100 floors and infested with gang members. So it sounds like this can be an action-packed book. Issue 1 was really great. It has been an excellent read so far. Cullen Bunn is really good at what he does. All right, we're going to move on to Marvel. Marvel has a ton of ASM 49 covers. This is legacy number 850. This will be written by Nick Spencer and some various other short stories by other writers and artists. You also got Ryan Otley on there and a ton of other artists working on this book. There are so many covers. I counted at least 14. That's just Marvel covers. And it's a really big issue because the Green Goblin is back. Is he going to be friend or foe? Who knows? But you got to read it. But we've got covers by Mark Bagley. There's a Ryan Otley cover who's been the main artist for most of this series. There's a Chris Bacalo cover. There's a Brooks cover, a Mark Brooks cover, which is pretty dope. We've got a Nick Bradshaw cover. What else? Who else? We got Olivier Copio cover. That's a really dope cover. J. Scott Campbell has a cover. Bruce Timms has a cover. I like that one. All right. So, and Scotty Young. Scotty Young's got a cover in there too. I probably missed some people. So there's a lot of covers out there, guys. There's a blank cover. So again, you convention goers, go ahead and grab your blank cover. And again, the Green Goblin is back. All right, next up on the list from Marvel, we got Marauders number 13 by Vita Ayala and Matteo Loli on the art. This is going to be part 5 of X of Swords. They're going to have an Iceman Timeless cover for this one. And it just seems like we're going to be finding out who those sword fighters in X of Swords is going to be. Which of the mutants on Krakoa are going to be participating in that tournament. There is a Stephanie Hans cover for Marauders. So that's probably the one I'm going to try to grab. There's also some other covers this week. They've been doing Fortnite covers. I haven't really been covering those. And there will also be a Hellstorm horror variant. Moving on, we got Thor number 8 by Donny Cates, Aaron Cooter on art, and Olivier Coipel on the cover art. There will be a timeless cover, so that's pretty dope. And in this issue, basically anyone can pick up the hammer. It looks like everyone's worthy. So we'll see where this story's going. Donny Cates usually tells a pretty compelling story, so we'll see where he's going with this. Next up, we've got just a third printing cover. This is Venom number 27 by Donny Cates. Juan Gideon did the art on that. And this is a cover by Ryan Stegman. I mentioned this because, 1, it's a really cool cover, and 2, it seems to be selling well on eBay right now. I've seen prices of this book sell anywhere from $9.50 to $25.95. I'm sure once the book drops and the market becomes flooded with more, the prices will drop, but it could still be a $10, $15 book, I think, after Wednesday. So next on the list, we have Wolverine. Speaking of specs, Wolverine number 6 will introduce a new baddie for Wolverine, a new villain. Also, this is part 3 of X of Swords. So this is the next part in the series. And we'll have a timeless cover. So the regular cover the cover A is done by Adam Kubert. We got Benjamin Percy writing. And you got Victor Bogdanovich on the art. This looks to be a key issue for several reasons. New baddie. Well, we're assuming that Wolverine is going to be one of the X of Sword fighters. So this will probably tell the story of how he's going to end up imbued with some power to fight in this tournament. We also have a variant cover, which looks pretty cool, by Daniel Warren Johnson. It's more of samurai Wolverine going on in there. We're moving on. We're going to the next book, X-Force, which is also written by Ben Percy and drawn by Victor Bogdanovich, and has a cover by Dustin Weaver. There is also a Beast Timeless cover for X-Force number 13. This is part 4 of X of Swords. So after Wolverine, you're going to want to read X-Force. And we're definitely going to find out, well, not definitely, but I'm assuming we're going to find out how somebody else acquires a sword and gets pulled into this tournament. All right, last but not least, we've got DC this week, and a big book from DC. We got Batman number 100. We're just going to come gunning right out of the gate. We've got Tynion, we got to go with Tynion the fourth, James Tynion the fourth on this one. This is the Joker War finale. This is the conclusion of the Joker War, and for you speckers out there, we got a new character in this one called Ghostmaker. So how will this influence the Batman series from here on forward? What's going to happen to Gotham? What's going to happen to Batman? What's going to happen to the rogue gallery of villains? This is a big issue to find out all that. What's going to happen between the Joker and Batman? Batman 100, that is a big book for you spec people, and a big Batman book just in general for story-wise. This is the conclusion of the Joker War, people. Joker War finale. So don't miss this one. Next up, we got Justice League number 54. This is a tie-in to Death Metal under the Doom Metal story happening in Justice League. This is part 2 of that story. This is written by Joshua Williamson, who started his run on 53 one issue ago. And the artist for this one is Zermanico. I am not familiar with his artwork. So we'll see where this goes. Cover artist is Dave Stewart and Liam Sharp. Also, this is a reuniting of the Titans. So you have Starfire and Cyborg teaming up with Nightwing in this issue. It also looks like on the cover you have some Hawkgirl in there. Joshua Williamson tends to write some pretty good stuff. All right, moving on. We've got Deceased, Dead Planet number 4. So this is a Tom Taylor written book with Trevor Hairsine and Gigi Baldacini on art and David Finch on the cover. This is a fun series. These heroes are trying to figure out a cure for the anti-life equation, which has like ravaged the planet. And it's really gruesome. It's really dire. It's like the Walking Dead of the DC universe. Like you never know who's going to die and when they're going to die. So it's been a really good read. It's a fun book if you're into it. With the Halloween season coming up, it's a great like horror title. So go ahead and pick that up. All right, and the last book we have from DC is a Black Label book, and it is American Vampire 1976, number 1 by Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque. This is kind of the book that put Scott Snyder on the map and Raphael Albuquerque as well as an artist. I believe this is going to be a 9-issue series. I think, don't hold me to this, but I think the last time they came together to write this series was about 9-10 years ago. So I can't tell you I remember too much of the series, except I remember it being the art and the writing being baller and badass. So definitely going to pick up issue 1 of this. The first cover is pretty awesome. There is a blank variant, and there is a B cover by Dustin Nguyen, which also looks pretty BA. So guys, those are the books I'm looking at for this week. Don't forget to grab your Timeless covers. They're pretty awesome. Don't forget, if you are speccing, to grab that DC Batman 100 and that Marvel Venom 27 third print and that Wolverine number 6. If you're reading X of Swords, remember there are 3 books coming out this week. You've got Wolverine number 6, which is part 3, X-Force number 13, which is part 4, and Marauders number 13, which is part 5. And you've got that big ASM 49 Legacy number 850. You've got that amazing Spider-Man and the return of the Green Goblin. So guys, continue to do what you do. I'm going to get ready to go shopping on Wednesday and pick up my books. Peace.